And now, I am honored to welcome our next speaker, John Lemme. John is a speaker, author, capitalism strategist, conservative political commentator, and founder of the Conservative Business Journal. He is highly sought-after speaker, top podcaster, and accomplished author of over 20 books, including his new book, Make Capitalism Great Again. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming John Lemme.
All right. So we are in beautiful, as you hear my South Carolina accent, correct? My name is John Lemme, and let me share with you how I ended up being here tonight. Everyone say tonight. What's behind me right here? The flag, correct? What is across my chest and my heart beats? The flag. Everyone say, the land that I love, I will fight for. The land that I love, I will fight for. Let me just press my little timer here, because every time I speak, I'm always on time. Let me just press start. So I have 3 hours to speak. No, 15 minutes. But there's 3 things in America. It's called faith, family, and freedom. Okay? Those are 3 things communists don't have. They have no faith. They're anti-God. They have no freedom because they have a communist mindset, and they want to steal your family. I believe in traditional marriage. I'm pro-life. I'm pro-Second Amendment. I'm pro-election integrity. My dad is 92. My mom is 90. Anyone streaming right now, most likely my dad is watching this. As you can hear my accent, I am from New York. I am full-blooded Italian. Unlike the captain, I am 5'7". Every Italian is under the... If someone's Italian goes, I'm 6 feet, lying, lock them up. My family came from Italy in 1913, 9 of them with $160 in their pocket, 2 weeks on the boat, and they landed on Ellis Island, came through with legal immigration. I am for legal immigration. I am for building the wall. That's what we stand for here in America. My family came with $160, once again, $25 each, and no AOC. And let me tell you what AOC stands for. It stands for absolutely, obviously, clueless. But let me just drop this bomb. And I asked Mr. Linwood if this was okay, if I would say this, and he said, if you don't say it, John, I will. My friend Presley Stutz was murdered by the CDC because he's tip of the spear. And I want to say it again for those of you recording. My friend Presley Stutz, one of my best friends. I met Presley Stutz June 2019. My beautiful wife is here. Christy, raise your hand, please. She's right there. She is from Tennessee. She sounds normal, so it's all good. We've been together 20 years. We'll be married 17 years coming up in April. And I'm only as smart as she writes, so I actually write my books, but she's really 90% behind writing it. She has more degrees in a thermostat. She's an attorney, as I say. I obviously love my wife dearly, and I love our family. So Presley Stutz in June 2019, when President Trump and the traitor, Mike Pence. How much of a traitor is Pence? How much of a deep state is Mike Pence? Deep state. So in June 2019, when Mike Pence and Donald Trump made the official announcement that they were going to run again, we've done many events. I've been blessed to do many events, speak at many events. So we hosted an event called Keep the State Red in Florida. To keep the state red, we did an event in June 2019. Presley Stutz and his best friend Dan Harville came down from South Carolina. And Presley got there. We nicknamed him Mr. Magoo. Everywhere he went, he left a dust and a trail of something. So all of a sudden, he heard me speak that night. He walks up to me. He presses my cross on my heart, looked me eye to eye, and said, "You got it, son. You have it." And he nicknamed me that night, "Go get him, Johnny." And I talked to Presley Stutz 1,412 times since that night. We would talk every single night for an hour, 2, 3 hours. I remember the first time he was driving out to see Linwood. He goes, "I'm going to drive out to Linwood. I'm going to see if I'm going to get him to run for the GOP." And I said, "Presley, if anyone can do it, you can do it, my man." And I said, "Tell Linwood I'm behind him 110%. I believe in everything he says. I believe in everything that he says. He's not a conspiracy theorist. Rachel Maddow is, Don Lemon is, CNN is, ABC is, CBS is, and the CDC, which stands for Clueless Delusional Criminals. The CDC is criminal. Fauci is the biggest moron next to Biden together, but I won't go down that path too much tonight. So press these studs. Tip of the spear. Did you hear what Jeff just said? That every single presidential candidate, the first step they make is where? In South Carolina. Who exposed the voter fraud in South Carolina? Pressy Stutz. Correct? Who died in the hospital on a ventilator? Pressy Stutz. Do you know anybody on the left? Am I getting too loud for you here tonight in the rally? Do you know anybody on the left? On the left, think about this. On the left, that has died of COVID from Biden. Well, there's 3 Bidens. Just look at Biden's earlobes. Schumer, okay? Biden, Schumer, Harris, Rachel Maddow, Don Lemon. Chris Cuomo never had the biochemical war for COVID. It was a setup for Cuomo to get all the money for the books and the Emmy Award and all the fraud going on in New York City and all the money that was sent to the state that he pocketed. They're going to expose he's the worst Italian ever made by God. It's Cuomo. And if you take notice, I wasn't one of the original speakers here tonight. What happened was, Pressy passed away Thursday, August 19th. My wife and I were hosting an event down in Florida called We the People Fight Back event. And I'll be speaking up at Brad Barton's event in Kentucky with Lynn Wood and General Flynn and Mike Lindell and Dr. Simone Gold and many others. And I'm honored to be one of the keynote speakers up there. And my wife and I had breakfast that next morning going, after this whole event, I'm like, we cannot not be at the official funeral because the funeral is September 10th. We'll be in Kentucky. Because I'm a man of my word. If I make a commitment, unlike the radical left, I actually follow through on it. So I said to my wife, I said, what can we do? So we took it upon ourselves to put a tribute together. We actually just launched this idea on Sunday night. We had well over 300 people at the Greenville Marriott this past Saturday, right? Chris, you were there, and your awesome husband, Tim, and thank you very much. You guys were there. We love Pressy. He was one of our greatest friends ever, one of the greatest Americans. He was blatantly murdered by the CDC. When he went in that ER room, his name came up on the CDC medical tyranny computer thing and said, get that boy. And we have to expose the medical tyranny. We have to expose the fraud because I want you to think a little bit. Do you know anybody on the left that has died of so-called this coronavirus that was started in the Wuhan virus by Fauci, by gain of function through the government, okay? Think about this. Anybody, Rachel Maddow, anybody you know. Nobody dies of COVID in the left. Isn't it interesting? So that Saturday night, we did an event, and then Lynn said, John, you want to come up and share a few words? So, you know, being associated with Pressy Stutz and Lynn Wood, they tend to alter schedules a lot. So we weren't going to be here tonight, but Lynn asked me to come up and share a few words, and it's an honor of mine to be here in a beautiful, this is America. Look around, right? Look at that sun. Look at the air we breathe. So Pressy Stutz, one of my best friends, and we're fighting. Go get him, John. We're going to fight every single day for you. So I want to challenge all of you tonight to ask yourself a question. What are you going to do personally? What are you fighting for? I'm famous for the sword. Many of you know in the Bible, in the book of Judges, what's the most corrupt scenario we're dealing with in America right now? Judges, correct? How corrupt the judges in America? Well, let this sink in for all of you that call Jesus Christ your Lord and Savior. Let this sink in. In the Bible, which Jesus called the good news, because he knew the news would corrupt everybody, correct? So in the book of Judges, there's a story called Gideon, correct? Gideon, there was 32,000 men called to defeat about 135,000 warriors. And Gideon said, wait a minute, 32,000 to 135,000, those odds are still not even that good at that level. But God said, no, I'm not ready yet. I got to get rid of all the rhinos. All the people standing up there, I'm for this, I'm for this, I'm for this. Then in their pocket, you know, don't get me started about packs. What do you pack in? You fraudulent rhino. Rhinos are the worst. This is a rhino sword. Slice them, dice them, chop them, put them in an Italian trunk, it's over. You have to do it. So it went from 32,000 men, and God kept saying, can I trust you? You know, one of my quotes, I've been blessed to write many books, one of my quotes is, God will promote you publicly when he will trust you privately. I remember the first time seeing Lynn Wood. I remember the first time I saw him, I said, hey, I like his hat, but I said, I like his heart. See, I have a different accent. Lynn has a different accent. Many speakers have a different accent. Eric from Ireland, the crazy leprechaun, has a different accent. But we all have the accent of integrity, the accent of love for America. So God kept dropping them down. 1,000 went down to 300 men who never picked up a weapon. But the sword of the Spirit. In other words, God is going to move. People go, what's going to happen? God is going to move. There was never an ounce of rain, but Noah built the ark. It's never happened before. How do you look? Biden is a complete moron. You know, I've been banned on YouTube, 5,400 videos, demonetized, censored, banned. I even checked my bio for the young lady. I said, my website gets hacked like every day. I'm like, make sure it's the right bio, literally. What are they so afraid of? But my grandfather came from Italy would say, you fight with all this love for this country to expose the evil. This is America. They came here for more. They came here for an opportunity. That's what they came here for. And on November 3rd, China stole the election. And we're going to expose election fraud. We're going to expose election integrity. And then, in my final story here tonight, there's something here called the land that I love. How many of you love this land? You know, there was a conservative called David in the Bible. And there was a rhino called Goliath. They estimated he weighed 800 pounds. He had 125 pounds of body armor. His armor weighed more than David. He had a young man carrying his sword with him. But David loved the land in the valley he was in and said, you know what? I've had it. I'm going to get involved in politics in my area. I'm going to get involved in the grassroots. And David came out and said, Goliath, look, I'm trying to hang out with the shepherd boys back there. I've already killed a lion, killed a bear. Enough. 40 days he stood there. 40 days, Don Lemon, CNN, Rachel. Guys, you could decensor us and shut us down, but all of you, share these videos everywhere. Tag them, share them. Those of you on Telegram, my Telegram channel is CBJ Real News for Conservative Business Journal. CBJ Real News, CBJ Real News. And YouTube and Jack Dorsey and Twitter, you two demons, you don't blink. That's because you're a demon. Biden's got black eyes because he's a demon. And what are we doing about it? We cast out demons and put them into the pit of hell. I hope Lynn asked me to speak again. I'm not too sure if that's just not sure if that. But Pressy, my best friend, is in heaven going right now. He was sitting back at all my events, texting my wife. He's doing good tonight, John. Go get him. Go get him. He was an anointed man of God. That they murdered him. And I will expose that. I will expose that. Pressy Stubbs was murdered by the CDC. Oh, don't say. I don't care what you tell me to say. I'm saying what I believe. Right? So many Christians are so afraid. Speak the truth. Back to the story, and I'll conclude. David and Goliath. And David said, he stood there, he said, Goliath, look, he took the sword. Now, this is in the Bible. This is in the Bible. He took a sword, killed him, and then cut his head off and put his head and brought it back and said, look, come here. This is what I will do with the rest of the rhinos. This is what I will do with the rest of you if you don't stop taunting me. For 40 days, he stood there like this until someone said 3 words. I want all of you to say this. And how good is God? My family comes from Italy. I'm in Beaufort, South Carolina, teaching tonight. If you don't believe in God, looky here, right, Tim? Looky here, baby. Tim's got my hat. He's teaching me Southern. Looky here. If you don't believe in God, this is a God. Look at that sun, and God is looking down right now. Who's going to fight? What are you fighting for? Fight for your family. Fight for your kids. Who's got kids in here? Raise your hands. One thing I'm famous for, I have 3 gorgeous nieces in Tennessee, beautiful Tennessee girls. I can't understand what they say on the phone, the accents. Gorgeous girls. And one is very good in athletics, and she has a lot of medals. And I always say to myself, if she goes in a bathroom one day and some demon identify as a girl with a wig on, he ain't coming out alive. This transgender is demonic. So final point tonight, I got to challenge all of you tonight. I got 3 minutes left, perfect. Who's the David in this room? I want you to say, as you go home tonight, as you let this settle in, who's the David? Who's the Noah? If you're a Christian, read the Old. I've been doing martial arts for 40 years of my life. The greatest martial arts movie is the Old Testament. God never lose, and he slaughtered them. He didn't go, well, let's have a debate and think about it. No, the election was stolen. Biden's a freak show. There's 3 of them, and China's. And guys, we got to lay hands on Zuckerberg and Dorsey and on Twitter and call them out. Twitter, what are you so scared of? What are you so scared of, Lynn Wood? And why you censor conservative political commentators? We comment with conservative values, and all the weak pastors and Christians go, we don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about daily devotionals today. No, we got to talk about the criminal activity. So I challenge all of you tonight. What are you fighting for? What do you fight? Who's the Davids? Who's the Noahs? Who's the Esthers? And take that to heart tonight. So I want to thank Lynn Wood for inviting me here tonight to speak. I want to thank all of you for being here. I want to thank all of you for loving the country. And everyone say with me 3 words. God bless America. Say it again.
God bless America.
Look to the person to your right and say that, please. God bless America. Look to the person to the left. And don't mess with me. I want to take out my sword and end it. Good night, guys. God bless you. Thank you very much.